Chapter 4, Mishnah 8. The Mishnah lists 6 practices of the Jews of Jericho that the sages disagreed with. The first of these involves working on Erev Pesach. The residents of Jericho did 6 things of which the sages disapproved. For 3 of the practices, the sages protested against them, but for 3 of the practices, they did not protest against them. These are the 3 practices for which the sages did not protest against them. A. They would graft date palms the entire day of Erev Pesach, even after midday, when work is prohibited everywhere. B. They would link the first 2 verses of the Shema. That is, they would recite the first 2 verses, Hear, O Israel, you shall love, etc., together without saying blessed is the name, etc., between them. And C. They would reap the new crop of grain and stack it before the Omer offering was brought on the 16th of Nisan. Although the rabbis had prohibited this out of concern that one might come to eat from the new crop, which is biblically forbidden, for these 3 practices, the sages did not protest against them. These are the 3 practices for which the sages did protest against them. They permitted using the new growths of trees that belong to the temple treasury, because they held that the prohibition of Me'ilah applies only to the tree as it was when it was consecrated, and not to its later growths. The sages protested because even if the growths are not subject to the biblical prohibition of Me'ilah, they are prohibited rabbinically. B. They would eat the fallen fruit from beneath the trees on Shabbos because they might have fallen off the tree before Shabbos and are thus not muksa. The sages protested because it is possible they fell on Shabbos, and that possibility suffices to make them prohibited. C. And they would give payah from vegetables, even though the obligation of payah does not apply to vegetables. The sages protested because if people think that it is payah, they will not tithe it. For these 3 practices, the sages did protest against them.